Hello and welcome to Grand Prix Yogyakarta coverage for the MSEM format. Today we're going to be watching the round 2 match between Monger, who is on Anarchist Thanksgiving, and Cyber, who is on White Black Enchantments. So Cyber is playing a more controlling game here. They have a lot of single target removal, incidental life gain, Slapfield Workgate gives them an early blocker. However, Monger's deck is basically a recursive semi-combo, semi-aggro deck. Depending on the draws it gets, it can play as a more like grindy, aggressive deck, or it can play out as a turn 2 or turn 3 combo deck. So depending on Monger's draws, Monger might just be too fast for Cyber to profitably interact with, especially because Cyber's only instant speed interaction, Legend Weaving, has a base cost of white, and then it's basically the only time you're going to be getting good hits off of Legend Weaving is at 4 CMC, by which point a Monger can definitely do some serious damage. Monger is also going first, which is very important. Makes Cyber less able to respond in this situation. Also, Monger going first makes it that if this goes to a game 3 situation, assuming Monger wins this one, Monger is much favored in every situation that they're going first. So playing Adiran Survivor turn 1. That's a very strong play since Adiran Survivor is part of the turn 3 combo. If Monger has Egg of Avarice here, that could be very powerful. Slapfield Workgate, so Cyber at least has a blocker, but Devouring Flame has Menace, so Monger could potentially combo out regardless. So tapping for 2, so that means this is not... this could be Egg. It is Egg of Avarice. Okay, so Monger is probably going to search for Devouring Flame or another Adiran Survivor. Okay, another Adiran Survivor. And then next turn, Monger can tutor up... and this makes sense because you're fine with sacking Adiran Survivor. Cyber's only interaction here is... and playing Planner Eviction on Egg. Oh, that's a really strong play. I've never seen anyone cast Planner Eviction for its primal cost, but that probably saved Cyber from just losing there, because otherwise Monger would go Devouring Flame and then combo out. If Monger has another Egg, though, it's going to be a heartbreaker. No Twilight Blade. And, Monger already had the Devouring Flame. So Monger didn't even need the Egg. That's it. That's a turn 3 kill. And Cyber's tapped out. Wow. Yeah. Okay, so going into game 2, let's look at each player's sideboards. So Master of Balance is a weird choice, and I don't think it's going to be coming in. Merchant of False Lives. It is target player, so I don't think it really helps. Merchant of False Lives could come in to stymie stuff like Serene Prayer, but also it's very bad against Guiding Light. Stolen Secrets as interaction, maybe, but Cyber's deck is not fast enough to have reasonable need to interact generally. Ash Speaker. I'm not sure what it's in here for. It seems like another combo piece. If Monger's trying to go very fast, maybe. Unmasker is a fair card. It's it can grab Cyber's only relevant interaction, and it basically puts a Cyber off of having that card until very late turns. Also prevents Cyber from tapping out turn 2 to play. You can grab a Photon Barricade turn 2, and then Cyber is unable to play that turn, therefore giving you combo protection. On Cyber's side, all 4 Sigil of Radiances are coming in. I don't think that's debatable. Flesh to Rot, I doubt it because it's just too slow in this matchup, but maybe. Photon Barricade I see coming in. Guiding Light. Guiding Light doesn't protect against Devouring Flame, doesn't protect against Twilight Blade because it's each opponent. It only protects against Blood Artist. Don't know if that's enough. I don't think that this is a matchup where Guiding Light comes in, but I could be mistaken. Maybe as a one-of, as a Legend Weaving target, but I think, yeah, all 4 Sigil of Radiances are coming in this matchup. So that's those are my predictions for sideboarding. Let's see how this is actually going to play out game 2. Yeah, notably Master of Balance doesn't even put Devouring Flame out of Flesh to Rot territory, so I don't think Master of Balance is at all useful here. That's like the one application I could see for it, and it just doesn't even perform that well. But if Monger makes the same call that I did, that it's unlikely for Cyber to bring in Guiding Light, might bring in Merchant of False Lives as another angle of attack. Especially because Cyber is on the draw here, so unless Monger has the turn 2, Cyber has time to put down like... Well, Serene Prayer doesn't matter. Oh, actually, Serene Prayer does matter for the Infinite because it covers all damage over and above. Like, it basically eats all damage from one combat. And Monger, despite having access to green, doesn't have a way to interact, like any way from the sideboard other than like technically Stolen Secrets and Unmasker to deal with Cyber. So actually, since so I guess Monger might have brought in Stolen Secrets and Unmasker as like a game 2. Like, given that Cyber is on the play, Unmasker and Stolen Secrets become more valuable because you likely can't you can't be faster than Cyber unless you have the turn 2. And that means that Cyber is going to have a chance to play some form of interaction / potential anti-combo. So turn 1, tapping out for Slapfield Workgate. It's just a blocker. Again, not useful against Devouring Flame, but against any other threat, it's solid. Turn 1, Stolen Secrets. So Monger did board those in. And yeah, it's pretty solid because Cyber literally only has 2 types of cards in their deck, which are Enchantment. Oh, that's a really good hit. Sigil of Radiance is, I think, the obvious call here. Yeah, so Cyber does technically have some instance in the form of Legend Weaving, but generally, like, it's much safer to just name Enchant and hope to grab them straight out of Cyber's hand, especially because Legend Weaving is so expensive. In this matchup, Cyber can't afford to wait that long. So Cyber tapping out for another Slapfield Workgate. Now it becomes more difficult for Monger to actually force damage through because Cyber can block menace creatures. Okay, tapping 2 for False Prophet. Oh, 2 Adiran Survivors. Okay. Wow, that's crazy. Does Monger actually have the Infinite here? The turn 2 Infinite is 2 Adiran Survivors plus Devouring Flame. And it was calculated, I believe, that there's a less than 3% chance of having those 3 cards within your opener, and a slightly higher percentage of having them in your, let's say, top 10 cards, including your hand. But yeah, that's crazy. So Cyber tapping out for Planar Eviction will get 2 more Oxen. Cyber's really gummed up the board, and without access to double Adiran, Monger can't do any infinite combos right now. And Monger doesn't have any way to kill this enchantment because Monger didn't ended up putting up any enchantment removal in their sideboard. So Monger's tapping 2 again for Egg of Avarice. Okay, so Monger's plan here is probably Adiran's. Okay, so Monger's going to swing with Adiran Survivor first. Take out an Oxen. Why not? And then Egg for another Adiran Survivor, and then Egg for maybe not Devouring Flame. Egg for, I guess, Fretboard Mob can still be chumped. Well, okay, as long as Monger has one of the Blood Artist effects in his hand, grabbing a Adiran Survivor here lets Monger potentially go infinite. If Cyber doesn't draw into another interaction piece. So Cyber tapping 2, this could be Sigil. No, it is Guiding Light. Guiding Light on black. So that protects from Blood Artist and False Prophet. It doesn't protect against Twilight Blade. Monger doesn't have a way to tutor for Twilight Blade, but if Monger does have Twilight Blade here, Monger could just end the game. Let's see it. Monger only has 2 cards in hand. Cyber is down to 1 card in hand. So it's really all about the top decks right here. Okay, so swinging in with the Adiran Survivor. Okay, so egg for another Adiran Survivor. I guess just in case Cyber has some sort of removal. Autumnal Watch. So, oh no, sorry, that was recurring Adiran, the other Adiran Survivor. So Autumnal Watch lets a Monger try to like play roulette to find Twilight Blade here. Because Monger has 2 Adiran Survivors, so Monger's only limit is how much life they have right now. Oh, and just the first hit. Okay, yeah, and this game is over. So, good games. Monger goes up 2-0 in games and 2-0 in sets, while Cyber, this will be Cyber's first loss, so Cyber will be 1-1. Still has the potential to make it into the cut to top 4. But those are crazy fast games, and that's showing the potential of the Anarchist Thanksgiving deck, which is 3 players are on in this GP. So Cyber is not conceding. So no, so okay, yeah, there's the GGs. I think Cyber might have missed for a second, Twilight Blade not targeting. But yeah, good games to both players. Anarchist Thanksgiving is just too fast for the interaction suite that Cyber possesses. So I'm going to go over here and see if either of them are free for an interview. Hi, Cyber. Hi, Monger.
Hi, Caillou.
Hello.
So yeah, I guess I just typed out the 3 questions I had. So I guess the first thing is, starting with Cyber, what were your thoughts going into this matchup as to like just what you're planning to do, or how you think it would end up, and how does that compare to how it actually ended up playing?
Game 1 is effectively unwinnable for me. So, like, strictly speaking, I can, if I win the flip, I can potentially play a Mark Accords before Monger combos off.
Mm-hmm.
And other than
definitely
that,
the matchup because Monger only has on 1 and on 2. And so if you get Mark Accords on both of that, that's just Monger locked out of his entire deck.
right. But I think I effectively cannot win that matchup pre-board on the draw.
Yeah, like
They're,
and even like you had the amazing play of like Planner Eviction, cast for Primal, which
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone cast for Primal. That's like your cheapest way of interacting. And then it just wasn't enough because Monger had the Devouring Flame anyways.
Yeah. Like I said, it is actually impossible for me to win that game 1 on the play, not on the play. And it is barely possible on the play.
Mm-hmm.
Because Monger has a turn 3 combo through 1 piece of disruption.
Yeah.
And I don't have turn 1 disruption, so I only have time to do 1 piece of disruption.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and some of your disruption just straight like Photon Barricade and Co. because Monger can just sack the creature anyways. Doesn't work as effective disruption like it would in other matchups. Like for creature.
Yes, Corp War's too slow. So my thoughts going into that matchup were lose game 1, hope I drop a Sigil games 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Monger?
Yeah, so I had figured that I really needed to look for the combo in my opening hand or first few cards, mostly because the backup plan of just go face doesn't really work against left field, which I ended up, of course, getting the combo. Not a super big surprise there. But sideboard, the main plan was just bring in all of my... I had tuned my disruption mostly for specific cards that weren't Sigil of Radiance, but I was hoping that the Unmasker and Stolen Secrets could just get the Sigil out of hand. And I learned my lesson versus Key earlier. You need to cast the turn 1 Secrets every time.
Okay. And yeah, that Stolen Secrets was super important because if Cyber just windmill slammed that Sigil there, it wouldn't have been able to form the loop, and Cyber would have just a bunch of stuff clogging up the board.
Yeah, like, I feel like I pretty much can't lose if I resolve a Sigil.
Because Monger has no removal for it, despite having green.
And I pretty much can't win if I don't resolve one.
Yeah, it's very swingy. And unfortunately, your only tutor effectively costs 4 mana in total. And turn 4 is just far on the horizon in this matchup.
So I boarded in Guiding Lights because they stop one of the combo kills.
Yeah, it stops Blood Harvest and stops False Prophet.
I boarded in Flesh to Rots because they buy me 3 turns. If I play one, I don't expect to be able to play one, but that's more useful than the other things I can be doing.
Interesting. Okay, I didn't expect that. I was thinking that Flesh to Rot would be, or like that you would evaluate it as too slow. What did you take out?
It is too slow, but so is everything else in my deck.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So on the off chance Monger stumbles, I can punish that, but really the only thing that matters in that matchup is do I land a Sigil or not. Everything else is irrelevant.
Oh, yeah.
Would you agree with that, Monger?
I think so, yeah. Because most of your win the game stall out strategies are too slow compared to that.
So I know it might be a little bit early for this question, but it has been discussed quite a bit already. And that is like, what are your thoughts on Adiran Survivor existing in this meta? Do you think it's unhealthy? If there's any change you'd propose to it, what would it be? Basically anything along those lines.
Well, I guess the short answer is yes, it is unhealthy.
Yep. And I strongly suspect it will not exist in this meta for much longer. I will be doing what I can to ensure it does not exist in this meta for much longer.
That's one I agree with.
And I hope it doesn't ruin the Pro Tour.
We'll see.
What are your thoughts on like the other cards in the deck? Because Egg is a very strong tutor piece, as we've seen.
Absolutely.
Do you think that Egg should be left alone if Adiran is changed? Or I remember seeing someone proposing like Egg costing 1 and 1 activation cost or some other changes along those lines. Or do you think that like rather than impacting Egg, the 1-drops of the format should be reviewed?
So I think that Egg should be.
Yet, that's fine. I'm just asking.
So right now I'm leaning towards Egg because even if you hit Survivor, some people have already brought up the Death Feeder plus Desert Slaughterer loop that Jan brought earlier. I think it was just like Omelet or something. But the change that I had mentioned before was changing Egg to 1 to cast, 1 to activate, which that feels more like a Band-Aid to me, honestly. Like it's been brought up a couple times of like, oh, this thing is restricting design space. And I don't know if Egg is at that point for 1 CMC creatures yet, but I think it's something to keep in mind.
I think we cannot fix this by changing a single card. Whether the combination of cards we change or remove includes egg or not. I think we have flexibility on that, but I think multiple cards need to be changed. Either several of our 1-drops or a couple of our 1-drops in egg.
I think I also agree with that. Yeah.
I don't think removing egg is enough to make Survivor not a problem.
Fair. Because you can also like dig super deep with the Autumnal Watch to try, like, there are still ways to, like, maybe less consistent, but still strong ways to dig for the combo that are that don't require you to play bad cards. You can play a good cards and still have a solid, like, normal game plan while still having ways to grab combo pieces.
Yeah, that's what the original it feels weird calling it anarchist now, but if you look back in deck building, that's what the deck started as, and then it just got more into, wait, this is a turn 3 combo, why not just go in on it?
Anarchist Adiran.
Mm-hmm.
And well, it is watching the world burn down, so that's pretty appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all I had. Do you guys have anything else you want to say?
Nope.
I think that's about it, yeah.
Okay, well, thank you guys for joining me, and good luck further in the tournament.
You too. Thanks for recording.